Sylvia, what's going on?
Not too much.
How are
Welcome,
you?
Templeton.
How's your day going?
It's going well.
That's
thanks.
good. It's great to be back here at DBDLI, where we're learning a lot of Africentric knowledge and history of African Nova Scotian and also people with African descent. And you know, in today's society, it's really important to learn the history of roots and upbringing. And DBDLI offers so much space and offers so much value and knowledge. And so let's actually go into an interview and have this conversation more further.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's do this. We're out of a conversation. It's
Thank
really
you.
good.
Thanks for coming to our site.
Yeah.
Love to welcome you here.
Yeah. Awesome. So Sylvia, how are you again?
Well, feeling energized. Looking forward to our conversation. Thanks.
Awesome. So I want to start today's conversation and welcome everyone, by the way. This is Templeton Soy from Sweet to Leader New Podcast. It's really good to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about the great historic space of the Delmore Daye Learning Institute. And we want to just have a conversation of where did it all started and why was this institute created?
Like so many things
Yeah.
that are great,
Yeah.
and I'm proud to say that I feel like we're great here because we're about community voice. They start with grassroots movements. So this institute is kind of the last quilt piece, that's
Yeah.
how we like to talk about it,
Yeah.
in a collection that was put together to address the underserving of African Nova Scotian communities, learners, in the education system, in the health system, in the social services system. We were put in place and supported to be in place by the Black community to focus on the education piece that wasn't being done well. So, and I love that you said like it's historic
Yes.
because it also recognizes the intersection between those of us who were here over many generations. So
right.
like myself, I would fit in that in terms of my family. We're connected with the Black loyalists. And also those who are here, as we say, in a contemporary way, who've come in different migrations. And so it makes that nice link connection for all of us in terms of being here and the work that we do.
And you know, Sylvia, I hear the words of Delmore when it comes down to Ubuntu, which means togetherness and sharing the common history because it's African Heritage Month, and we're sharing the African roots of our roots and where we've come from. And you spoke about the educational resources that you normally would share. And if you can correct me there now, some of the resources are in the high school systems here in Nova Scotia today.
Right, exactly. I mean, one of the big things that showed up in the need for a structure to be in place was
Right.
that there was not enough learning happening in the public school system that talked about African Nova Scotian Black history,
Yep.
heritage, and culture.
Yep.
And the resources that we do here, we have a resource in the high school system, Black history, Africa, the Caribbean, the Americas. So that's used as a resource book, a textbook for the African Canadian studies, but it's also really usable for a reference book in the high school system and across. We also found that we needed resources in the elementary system
Yeah.
to help with identity for the learners there, but also, again, help everybody know what's going on, what's true. So I hope the folks that are listening
Yes.
have heard a lot about the ABCs of Viola Desmond.
Yes.
And we've also just recently produced it in French, the alphabet, de Viola Desmond.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that resource is a resource that tells about Viola Desmond's story. But Templeton, its main purpose when it went into the education system was to help learners in reading because it is at the grade 3 level, and that's where you're still learning to read and also doing comprehension, but you're focused on learning to read. So it's used as a guided reading process. And if I could continue on.
Yes, go ahead. No.
What we're also working on now is something, again, that can be a pride piece
Right.
and a learning piece. And it's a series of of stories
Yes.
from various African Nova Scotian communities. So we like to talk about there's like 50 plus historic African Nova Scotian communities.
Plus, wow.
Wow, right? It shows you the longevity and the amount of folks that came here over those decades, centuries, really, right? And so we would have two that we've just brewed. One is being launched early March.
Yes.
And that's a child of East Preston, featuring Wanda Thomas Bernard. And prior to that, we had a resource that it's My Grandmother's Days, and that is talking in terms of the community of Lucasville. So we're going to journey everyone across the province with these stories, and we're going to help them have an understanding about what happened historically and our contributions again.
And you know, Sylvia, the journey is very important to tell people the story so that they can be aware of what's going on and like you said, the historic views of what's going on. And I know DBDLI focuses its core values on research and development as well. And I know I want you to speak about the maybe the recent research, because we're in this space right now, and there's a lot of projects here that's being completed and all that good stuff. And so speak a little bit about the research development that DBDLI offers and welcoming other persons in that area.
Thanks for that question. It allows me an opportunity again to reference back the importance of community voice and how we stand, as we use this phraseology, we stand on the shoulders of those who came before us. And so our research is grounded in voice and participation. Participatory action research is the research that we do. And from an Africentric lens, it's centering voice. And so we look at things through that perspective. I also want to acknowledge that we take that research and at any moment in time when we can, we do something with it. So research, as folks will recognize, takes a long time, right? It does. You're building trust when you go in with folks. You need to gather that data, allow the voices, come back and say, oh, did we capture what you wanted us to capture? Did we hear it well? So it takes time. But kind of our approach, which is focused to us, not necessarily unique across worlds, but focused to us in terms of tradition and connection, is that when we come to something that looks like we can make use of it, we pause and do some work on that. And we call that a lens of looking at things from a promising practices perspective, right? So it's not exemplary practices because in the research world, again, you haven't finished it all, but you know it's worth testing out. And so that's what we're doing with some of the work that we're doing with the regional centers of education here in Nova Scotia. Connected with that is an initiative that we've been doing, I think we're in the 16 years of it now. And just to clarify, so people are going to go, 16 years, but you're celebrating 10. Right. Okay, so we're celebrating 10 in the formal structure that we are now with this building, which is about 5 years old for us, and with the structure of governance. But prior to that, there was a kind of a committee structure. And so there were some things that were able to happen because committees were doing work. And so that connects us back to this initiative called the African Nova Scotian History Challenges. And those are opportunities for all schools, all learners at all levels to engage in learning the full history contributions here within the Nova Scotia context. And so that began in November, December of 2021 this year. And now it's just closing in terms of receiving the submissions and starting the adjudication process. It just closed last week in February 23rd. So now we're looking at these amazing projects, many of which make use of our resources, and many of which can offer opportunities for potential resources or potential ways of doing things. All of them, again, are like powerful because students and teachers engage in them in a way that is not just about African Heritage Month, right? But is about thinking as well about the contributions throughout the school year in this case, because it's a school-based individual projects or group projects, but it's very focused on the regional centers of education.
Wow. This is really amazing. Sylvia, I want you to come on here today just to share a bit about the Institute and to share about its purpose and mottos. Can you elaborate just to share about the purpose and motto? Because we know that Delmore is serving the community and reaching out and sharing its resources and research development and all that good stuff. But just share maybe the motto and mission statement of Delmore, so that it'll allow other folks to understand the importance of the land that we sit on right now for African descent. And I know there is a land acknowledgement that is awareness of this space. But I'm not putting you on the spot to say that now, but maybe giving
Well, I
giving
mean,
the land.
it's an embedded piece.
Yeah.
So, that land acknowledgement piece and the way that we receive it and understand it as, again, from the historical context being here,
Right.
is that we talk about Turtle Island, right? And we talk about being settled here. So we didn't come here by choice. There's migrations that came by choice, but we were settled here. And so we are able to acknowledge in that land acknowledgement that reality. We're also able to acknowledge that we were supported to be able to survive because of our brothers and sisters in Mi'kma'ki, in the Mi'kmaq peoples, and that is also contributing to us being able to thrive today as we do in terms of relationship and truths. So that's really an important piece for us. We find strength, I think, in our aspirational goals, right? So we have a mission and a vision, as you said, and go to dbdli.ca and check out that and check out everything else that's here.
Sylvia just look at the camera and say, check it out, check it out, check it out. Yeah.
But in terms of being aspirational, we really have put a big accountability to ourselves. We want to transform, right? We want transformation to happen for the lives of our communities, for the lives of the children and the youth and the elders in our communities, and for Nova Scotia broadly. That means significant change needs to happen in institutions and structures. Institutions, like I mentioned earlier, the health institution, the education, the social sectors need to step up and go, what's the benefit that we have because we mistreated folks over many centuries, right? Because we utilize someone else's labor, we denied people access to wealth growth. What are those things that we need to kind of do in a system, in a structure? And we talk about that in the phrasing of systemic discrimination, systemic racism. So I don't like to miss the opportunity to say to folks, we as communities, disenfranchised communities, marginalized communities, we've been pretty good in terms of taking care of ourselves, and we'll continue to do that and support ourselves. The change that needs to happen structurally needs to be done by the folks who have positional title power in those structures and come forward and work alongside of us to make that change happen. So that's our aspiration: a better world for everyone.
That's a good aha moment. A better world for everyone, in order for everyone to succeed and feel equal in that way. Sylvia, CEO of the Delmore Daye Learning Institute, it's a pleasure to have had this great interview with you, and I look forward to more interviews, because I feel that Delmore has a lot of value and aspiration. So there will be students who we'll welcome to the platform, and other young people from the youth council and potentially from the elder councils to come onto the space to bring more awareness, because I feel like it's very important to share history and also to share advocacy building as well, and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for having the opportunity. Before we go, is there one motivational tip that you can share with everyone that you want before we leave on today's set?
So for our community, there's a rich connect in terms of faith and spirituality, right? And so I think if we imagine this thing that is about success moving forward with, we don't do things on our own. We do them as a collective. So I would say any time you have a space and an opportunity to be somewhere, make sure someone is with you, and make sure that to follow the phrase that we've heard from Her Honor Mayanne Francis, Senator Wanda Thomas Bernard, and others, lift as you climb.
That's good. That's really good. And I'm going to end on that quote and that thought for the day. And I thank everyone for listening, and I encourage you to stay tuned to more of DBDLI's encouragements and also people who will be on here. And I want you to just be yourself, be willing to learn, be willing to advocate, be willing to go into the community and to just learn and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for coming on this episode, and we'll see you at the next.